Hey guys, let me get some coffee and then I'll get right to it. Just bear with me 1 second. Thanks. All right, let's get to it. All right, so that didn't work, but we were getting there. We were getting there. I was almost there. It almost worked perfectly, but it didn't work. All right, make sure I got the music off because I got the sound down. Let's get to it. I'm going to start with ES, and then we'll go from there. And let's start. Your data was disgusting. Like your data was really, really gross. So like really gross. So let's just start there. We should start bonding on Monday. I should be able to get the computer together, but my schedule is going to be all off because I'm going to have to do this differently. I'm going to have to come right from like the gym, I think, and just log on, but I'll figure it out. But I should be good. All right. So here's ADP employment change. And that's negative 33. You were looking for 95. So there is a difference here where ADP is just the private side of the market. And let me just stop this banner. And we'll go. Let me just set the banner. I want to hide that banner. I can leave the banner there, but we'll get rid of the we'll get shortly part. I'll just save it. We don't need a banner right now. We don't need no stinking banner. But what you want to watch here is that's a really bad number. Like on the private side, like that's like gross. We're not talking about like a dumpster fire floating down the river with a bunch of raccoons. This is exactly what I'm referring to. So if you ever want to know what that looks like, that's what it looks like. That's really, really a gross number. ahead of non-farm payrolls. And it might be why Jerome Powell's all like, I can't wait to cut rates. Like, he really changed his tune, didn't he? And you thought it was Trump that got to him. Maybe he sees the data and he's having an oh crap moment. That very well could be the case. So I would watch that really closely. And it's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch that really, really closely and go from there. But other than that, if I take a look at the ES, we'll get to that in a moment. I want to show you this because I do think it's worth your time. So you just understand what I'm saying. Like, when I say how bad this is, you can just see how bad it is. It only happened once before. And here we are with that gray, as you can kind of see that, right? And then before that, it was the pandemic. So you don't usually have negative numbers like that without going into a full-blown, like, to be candid, without going into a recession. Like, you just don't have numbers that are like that bad without going into a recession. So I think, from my perspective, that when I look at that, I think he's trying to get ahead of it. So do with that what you will. Get some other economic data today. Remember, you're done by 1 o'clock tomorrow, but all you have to do is look at this stuff and go, hey, this data is disgusting. And that bar is disgusting. And so just look at that bar. I mean, look, it's gross. It's really gross. And so that's definitely something you're going to want to pay attention to. Like, you definitely want to pay attention to that. So you don't want to miss that. Really bad number. Can't stress that enough. What you do with something like that, and what I like to do, is just mark that bar off from the top all the way down. I mean, I guess you could use the opening of it too. It seems like that fits a little bit better. And then use the close of that bar as well. And you can see how it fit right there. And you've broken that. And that's not overly surprising to me that you've already broken that bar. Like, that's not like this huge move. And I'm not so sure you're just going to, rip. You might have a better chance of ripping here because of and you can see the trend line. You already broke it, right? You might have a better chance of ripping here because you see I tried to get through it and then rejected, because you have some other sectors that are moving. But if you really look at this stuff, like in here and over, it's not great. I mean, you can already see the divergence, right? This morning, and then it falls. So that's like 3 o'clock this morning. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you have a problem up here. So, you really have to get through this level. And until then, you have that divergence. And if you play divergences, which you probably should if you're trading futures, but you do what you're comfortable with, you kind of have an issue up here. Like, you just might want to watch this. I don't know how goofy you need to get today. I'm more curious about what they do with the numbers, to be honest with you, and how crazy those numbers get. That's really where my head is. There's some names out there that I think could be absolute dumpster fires today. But if we're going to just look at the ES for a second, look at it and come up with some levels, this is how I would view it. I think the most important thing for us in looking at this is going to be, all right, well, they're my levels, right? But really, if we take a look at this, what's going to be the motivation to go out there and buy tech today ahead of non-farm payrolls now? I don't think you're going to get a ton of motivation, man. I just don't see it. I'm not saying there's not going to be trades out there and everything else. There's always trades, but you just might want to watch, because if you crack, as third base used to say, pop goes the weasel goes pop. So you're definitely going to want to watch those levels. That's right. I dropped that. I dropped it like it was hot. So you see what you're dealing with right here? It's not great. I've seen great before. It doesn't really look like left head, right shoulder neckline. So, great day to get a nice book, a cup of coffee, kind of chill out a little bit, maybe, short the rallies and kind of go from there. Like, I mean, that's really where my head is looking at it. Like, I'm not feeling it. Whenever, and also however I start the day, I always look at like, what have I done in the morning, and then how's that acting? I find that very helpful. So I went long one name, I'm down in it. I went this pre-market, and then I went short one name, short two names. So I'm up in my shorts, I'm down in my longs. And whenever I see that kind of stuff, it just kind of tells me, oh, that's kind of how they're leaning. Like, they're not out saving it. And I'll go through a couple of these names for you, but for me, that's kind of where I would be, man. I'd be really really careful. I'd be really, really careful. Like that's a really bad number, like really bad number. Yeah. Okay, I've seen good before. It doesn't look like that. And let's just keep going. We'll go SPY. Okay. And here you go. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's okay. Yeah, sorry to be quiet. I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything here that's really worth, like, I know you can't see my face, so like you don't know, but like, I mean, do we really need to worry about this? I mean, where does that take us? 615? I mean, like, is that something like we have to sweat? Do we really have to sweat that? Maybe it's something we have to pay attention to. They just found one of my stocks. Hold on one second. What name did they find? Oh, that's interesting. I was trying to short a bunch of this name. I couldn't find it. And now they just came at me with it. Give me 1 second, guys. Do you have it or not? Do you have the size? Do you have size? Yep. All right, cool. So I wanted to short this thing, and now they finally have size of it. That's really how I see the SPY. And you can kind of come here and look at the RSI. I'll show you the stock in a minute. So here, it's BMNR. I really want to short this thing. I don't know that I need to short it right now. I really think that I probably don't want to. Not yet. I need to see it open. What I tend to do with these names, and I find it helpful, is just get a guide like this and just take peak VWAP and just watch it and then see how it acts when it gets there. You'd be surprised how easy that is and how much time and ag it would save you. Just something as simplistic as that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they got Tom Lane, all of a sudden the thing went crazy. So it seems kind of nuts. And the borrow is out there now, so I'd watch this. All right, cool. Just make a little note for myself. Let's go to it. I really feel like it's one of those kind of chill kind of days. Like I shorted this at 43 and I knew, and I don't really like doing it when the chart looks like that, but I knew it. Also, this premium's going away, isn't it? So I'm just kind of watching it, but this thing just looks disgusting. People are like, you loved it 2 days ago. That was 2 days ago. All right, let's get to it. Good morning. Yeah, I think that, Julian, I think how you have to view your life is tomorrow's hero or zero day, man. Like it's coming. So what does that mean? Well, I think it means that you have to think about it like it's going to be hero day or a zero day. And what that means to me, candidly, is in looking at this and going, like, what do you think is going to happen with non-farm payrolls? Because everything you just asked about, it's non-farm payrolls. So DPST, that's coming in today, like now, like it just seems to me that they don't know what they want to do. So whenever I see this kind of stuff and you're at these inflection points, I do tend to put the brakes on here and look at what's working on the day. And I tend to take a break and just breathe, to be quite honest, because that's bad data. So the question with bad data becomes, the question with bad data to me really is how much is impacted, how much is into it. Like, why would now fall on bad data, right? Like it should actually be going up because that's closer to them cutting rates. So then the question becomes, what happens with non-farm payrolls tomorrow? So if you think non-farm payrolls is going to go down, Julian, or like if you think it's going to be a dumpster fire of a number, DPST is going a lot higher. Like we bought this yesterday and did very well with it. Very well with it. I mean, so I did so well with it, I already trimmed it. Like it was crazy. So, and it's a swing for me. So the question really becomes how much is baked into it. This is super important to think about that going into that number. Like really, really important to think about going into that number. As far as PLTR, I shorted it yesterday. I did really well with the short. These numbers are disgusting, guys. So the numbers that are coming out, they're not great. I don't know that you're going to get this huge rally in the market today. I would watch those levels like a hawk for those that want to play this and going from there. But the way that I view this stuff, the way that I view it and looking at this is, I shorted it yesterday and I didn't even really want to, but it was so obvious that I did it. And once it broke, it was just like, oh, it's on. So I really think in looking at this stuff, that's how you should approach it right now. Like when you look at this stuff, it gets pretty freaking obvious that they want out. Like, and especially when you see this kind of stuff, and I'll just show you these patterns. We're probably in July going to do a webinar pattern, and it's not going to be public. You're going to have to sign up for it, but I'll post it so that it'll be free, but we're going to just do pattern recognition on some stuff sometime in July. But if you look at something like that and you really get to it, like what is that telling you? Well, here's that level, right? And then you try to get over it, and then you reject it, and then you test it, failed, rejected, Matumbo. Like it's so obvious you Matumboed here. Yep, I made him a verb. And so that now it's like, all right, well, we're going to break here. Well, I don't see how you don't. Like how many times you're going to knock on that door before it opens, right? I mean, eventually it's going to open. So I really think you have to be super careful with these names. And this is where people get hurt because they don't understand that things changed. And I don't really want him cutting rates because things are bad. Like that's not great. And, the administration can fight with the Fed all they want, but, they did it with the uncertainty. You can't go out and tell people that, go and hire people. And just every 2 weeks, we're just going to keep giving people extensions. The other thing you have to deal with all the high beta stuff, if you think about it, July 9th is coming, guys. And is he going to extend? Well, maybe we extend this country. Maybe we don't extend that country. Maybe we extend this one 3 months. Maybe no one has a clue. And people are looking at this going, I'm just going to get out of all the high beta stuff. And that's exactly what they did. I think that if you look at buying Meta here, I think you're out of your mind. I thought about that the other day. I was watching people talk about this. Like, you're out of your mind, like buying that up here. You're buying it at the high, thinking you have any level of certainty that you had before. You just doubled or, had this huge move in a very short period of time. When you look at stuff like this, here's your RSI when you hit that level. Here's your RSI now and you're rolling over. Like, that could be like a major top for that level, for that name. And a couple of these names are starting to look that way where, not as bad here, but like, I think maybe it was Google I was looking at last night. It's not as bad. I'll find it. It'll come to me. But like, that's a major top. That's like what a major top looks like. And I don't care if you use RSI. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just telling you that when you see this kind of stuff, you want to pay attention to it, not just blow it off like, oh, well, we're fine. No, like this is where you would hit. And then, you'd wonder why you're back to 680 and you didn't sell it. Like that's the kind of level you're at. If you look at the 4 hour here and I just get rid of that and just go look at regular timing, like that's what you want to buy. Okay. Those sellers here from February 18th, when we started getting liberated, they're still there. So I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. And I think that's how you have to look at it. And I would look at a lot of names like this on the setup I'm giving you right now. Like I love the name until it broke. And then you're like, okay, well, I've got a 4 hour at 86 and I'm cracking and going down. Like, do I really want to be a net buyer here? Not anymore. And, yesterday it was pretty obvious. And I had a real nice swing on this. I was up over $100 on that trade at one point. And I traded around it, but that's what you need to do, Julian. You need to go through them line by line by line, like I just showed you. That's what I would do. But you should do what you're comfortable with. I'm coming up soon, actually, probably August. I might be up there for a month. August or September, I'll be up there for a month, I think. I think you have to be super careful until you get through tomorrow. I really do. Would I touch it? Not really. I don't know what your motivation is right here. Like, I just don't know what is going to be the impetus that drives that higher right there. I don't see it yet. I just don't. What's up, Mitch? I mean, there's your level. What's your volume like? Does you have good volume? So I mean, you can try. I don't know. You got a bunch of crap up here, Mitch. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Hey, Ian. Archie Daniels? No, I don't really have any like hard feelings there, like at all, really. Does this stuff continue to go? Does it not? I think you got to make sure you get through these levels. Like it looks like you're going to, and it's very clear where your stop is, right? But I think we're really in a holding pattern here. I'm not saying that there's not trades out there. There are. But I think you're really in a holding pattern till you see how we open this morning and how this goes. I don't think you want to do much more than that. That's where I'm just telling you where my head is with it. I don't think that you do. Whirlpool. I know you guys were looking at this. Can it keep going? Yeah. I mean, like this actually does make sense to me because people are going to buy homes. So, and it tends to move that way. It does tend to move with the home builders and it does make a lot of sense. And it's a real simple trade. So I tend to buy the transports because you need more lumber. And I tend to buy lumber when I start seeing this sector kick in because it's very easy and those companies are usually really cheap. This may be cheap as well. I don't know. Doesn't really look that cheap. Maybe it is. I don't know. That was a huge write-off. I don't know. I'd have to go through it. It might be cheaper than I think it is, but you're doing what? $2 a quarter, 8, say 8, you're trading 20 times, 25 times earnings for a washer dryer company. Pardon me. Woo. So I don't know. I'm not feeling that. Give me one sec here. What I got. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling that. I don't know why. Yeah, these are like, you have to realize these names are like, I think someone came out and put a target price on it. Look, guys, these are all just like those kinds of secondary names. And when the ball drops on this stuff, it's going to be just like super ugly. And that's what you're dealing with right now. So I don't really see the sense that you have to rush into this. I would tell you to be really, really careful across the board here. Like, I don't think I could stress that enough. I definitely am not trading this kind of stuff right now. I tried yesterday, like this was such a beautiful setup, and then they just rug pulled it. And so when I start to see this stuff with those kinds of rug pulls, when it looks like that, where you take me over and undercut me, yeah, it's time for me to go get a nice cup of coffee and chill out and relax and not do anything. And it's exactly what I'm going to start doing. Like when you start to see this, where you have like these 4 hours and you're up here and you break, you might want to pay attention to that. I know people said not to use RSI, but you might want to use RSI, at least to get a sense of it. ITB, I would just go through the holdings and look at what you're comfortable with. We could spend forever on that. What's up from Phoenix? Regionals look fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I guess the question becomes which one, right? And you just have to go through them and say, oh, I like this one's balance sheet. The one that they tend to buy that is the best is this FCNCA. Like that's the one that all the institutions will buy. And most people won't buy it because they'll say it's too expensive. But that's the one that they tend to buy. And it's the one that tends to work the most. But they all work, really. I mean, I shouldn't say it that way. I'm surprised BK is not up more. I think Citizens is, what's Citizens number? Citizens, they've been expanding. Citizen, come on, work with me. Citizen Community Bank. I think this is not the one I want. I think it might be Citizen Financial Services. There it is, CFG. So like they've been expanding. They're doing a really good job. You can look at those. MTB's got a pretty solid balance sheet. That one makes a lot of sense. This one's actually set up pretty nicely too. Left, right, head, shoulder. You already see the TDL or the DTL. Sorry, dyslexia. You can see the break, but I don't know. I think you have another one here. It's a little more exciting. Come on, work with me, not against me. Like right there. See it? So, and that means the fan's going higher, which is always cool if you think about it like a fan. So I like these names. If you're like looking long term, you just want to buy, you're thinking about like, okay, well, how does this play out going forward? This is how it plays out going forward. So that's how it plays out going forward. Just like that. And so when you look at it and think about it, yeah, that's how it plays out going forward. Just like that. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be jumping into tech here until you really see how this goes. You're pretty up here and you're pulling back. Like you're not pushing. Like you can stay up here for a long time overbought, but when you start cracking these levels, I mean, it's not rocket science, but when you start cracking that stuff up top here, you really don't want to be in these things. Because it just means, like, if you just think about what it is, that RSI is a momentum indicator, and that and you break it, it means the momentum is slowing down. That's why it works so well when you see these divergences, because it means that the momentum is not following what's going on with the trade. Some people look at it as a value proposition. I get that too. I think it's Larry Williams that does that. I mean, I get it. But the way that I tend to look at this stuff is, watch how it comes out, go from there, make some bigger choices and and see what happens. But I don't know, man. I own it. I'm going to always own it. But yesterday there were some moves that I made where I looked at some things and I'm like, nah, it's time to go. Like some of these like longer term trades, I'm like, no, I got to get out of this stuff. On some of the stuff that I bought for like swing trades that I just put on, I closed a bunch yesterday that I just put on because you can see the writings on the wall when we start getting like the hanging chad and you have these divergences that start kicking up. Like you don't want to be the last one doing it. Now, again, I have no idea what happens tomorrow with non-farm payrolls, but you're jumping in front of a train. And I don't think people realize how bad that train can be tomorrow. Light volume, bad non-farm payrolls. And the futures market only had us moving like what? What was the expected range on the S&P this week? I think it was like 132. Yeah, good luck with that tomorrow. So, yeah, maybe it's a nerd way to laugh. Good morning, Lisa. No, there's not much to do. Yo. Good morning from Tokyo. PIO, water IPO. Really? Or ETF. Really? I don't know what's in here. I really don't know what's in here. I like it, but I like that. I'd like to know what's in there. I love stuff that does this. And we have no idea why it's doing it. I mean, you might know, but like multi-decade kind of like ETFs have been around forever. And then all of a sudden they just start breaking out. Yeah, I love stuff like that. So I would definitely watch that. See how it goes. 100%. I've never been to Buenos Aires. I actually want to go to Buenos Aires now that you have that new guy down there. Do you like it down there? Are you from there? ASTS, I watch that 38, 39 level in the video. I wouldn't go near. This makes a lot of sense. The apparel companies makes a ton of sense. And you're really at that level again with Lulu. What I don't like is they said they were passing the costs on to their clients. So then you start looking at stuff like Nike. I like Nike, but the one that I've been playing is A&F. And I'm just building this big position in it, to be quite honest with you. But I'm in no hurry here. I've been in since here, and I added yesterday at like 84 when it closed over. So I'll find out exactly what the cost is, but I did add to it yesterday. I don't even think I posted it yet, but super easy trade here. I think that all these names are going to move, but I would go through them and find out which names are set up to move, which ones are not. Like some of this stuff can really, really run, like really run. So, do with that what you will. Good morning from Matamba. Good morning. Jay, I don't think you have a better opportunity than like when you really think about it. When do you want to buy Citigroup, right? When they ease the constraints of it and nobody wants to buy it. And I think it's still under book, like it's crazy. And now they've eased their constraints of it. And that's pretty much it. It's like Bank America too, right? Everyone's like, oh, Buffett, Warren's so smart. Okay. All-time highs. Like, okay. Here we go again. It always makes me laugh when people say that about him too. Like he sold Taiwan Semi at $80. It's tripled since he sold it. I don't know. Ackman actually came out and said they'll probably do better when he's no longer there. I don't know about that, but it is kind of crazy, some of this stuff. I think Citigroup's the better one of this too. You're definitely rotating. I do think you're going to rotate into those. The consumer will do better. So actually stuff like this tends to go up because it's cheaper to borrow and your inventories go up. I know a lot of people that are buying cars. A lot. Like I'm really in that industry. Like I shouldn't say it that way. I know that industry really well. And I can tell you that the inventory on the high end stuff Okay. The inventory on the high end stuff is really gross. Like you can't get it anymore. So because the tariffs, they're not bringing it into the country. So if you have inventory, your inventories are going to go up. So whether you like CVNA or not, no one cares. Like there's a reason why it's going higher because their inventory is going to go higher. And that's probably very true. Now, these pullbacks and tests, and then do they run and take out those highs? Well, they tend to do that, but what you might want to do, what I tend to do with these trades is kind of look at where we're at. Like, oh, you sold all the way down. Oh, you're not overbought yet. Oh, you're lifting. Like, I do pay attention to that kind of stuff. I do think there's trades there. There's also a reason that like AutoNation's doing what it's doing. And I think that's really important to get. Like, you're like, if you look at the space and go, I don't want to play around with what's his face. I don't want to play around with Carvania. Like AutoNation makes a ton of sense, but that whole space, man, they're on fire, and that's probably not going to stop. It just isn't. Time is at 9:05. I'm gonna have to jump here. I shorted Reddit yesterday. I killed it on that trade. BBAI, you guys are playing that. You're doing what? Well, I wouldn't touch healthcare. I'm not in the field. I've been shorting it. I've been doing very well shorting it. I don't see any reason for me to do anything with it except continue to short it. So BMNR, I'm just going to wait. I got to wait for the open, but yeah, I mean, this thing's you're not going anywhere. Where are you going to go? Like for real? Like, I see like the 5 oversold and like, but come on, like this thing's done. Oh, we got an advisor. Okay. What's the market cap? Yeah, you could do that. So, yes, the stock market due to changes. I don't really like BBIR. I know you guys are trading it, but I'm not really crazy about that. I thought they showed China. I thought they said China was already out, didn't they? Do you love it there? Yeah, I actually wanted to go there and take a look at it. So is Tesla moving? Maybe the numbers came out and the numbers are good. It lifted the market. So, they must be delicious. Delicious numbers. You don't get to say that very often. Look at those numbers. They must be delicious. So I'd probably be on the other side of that shorting it. I'm sorry, guys. But, they probably will make super hot numbers and then people will read them and then they'll roll right back over. But watch the 318 there. Well, that's probably why yesterday that we weren't there. How come we don't have this? Like, how come we don't have this stuff? I'd be on the other side of it, but it's just me. BITO. Oh, it was brilliant. I mean, I don't blame him for doing what he did. Like, I don't look at it like that at all. But, I look at it and just start laughing. But I don't think I want to do this yet. All right, I'm going to jump. Trade to win, guys.